Hi Taylor, this is Samuel Philbrick, Hannah's boyfriend and the guy hoping to go into ophthalmology after I finish a flight surgery tour. Um, I've been working on a project that's related to ophthalmology that I kind of wanted to talk to you about when I was staying at your parents' place, but I just wasn't sure if it'd be worth your time. Earlier tonight, Ben mentioned to me that you developed a device that's been picked up by Welsh Allen, the one that connects an iPhone 4S. Um, for basically doing fundoscopic exams and being able to record pictures or short videos on the iPhone. I think that's pretty fantastic, and he said you would definitely be interested on any project that had to do with smartphones and ophthalmology. So I threw together this short presentation tonight to kind of tell you about what I did. It's 11:40 at night, and people went to sleep around 20 minutes ago, so I'm going to try to be quiet while I go through this. I just whipped it up, so I apologize if it's a little sloppy, but here we go. So I did a project to see if I could make 3D ophthalmology surgical videos using smartphones. I know that there's already technology out there for recording 3D videos of surgery, but some of those 3D microscopes can cost upwards of $50,000. I wanted to find something that was easy and accessible and kind of leveraged existing technology to make creating and watching 3D surgical videos easy. So there were two things I needed to be able to do this project. First was to record, and of course that's pretty simple. All you need for that is something to record what the left eye sees and something to record what the right eye sees. And if you can do that, then you still have to go through the work of combining the two videos, but then you got to find a way to view them. Now the technology that is being used right now in the operating room uses a monitor with a high refresh rate, usually around 120 hertz. And what this does is it allows the monitor to alternately display the left eye frame and then the right eye frame through polarized, well, in some way that's polarized, so that the viewer who's sitting in the OR can wear a pair of glasses. One lens is polarized for the left side, one lens is polarized for the right side, and the monitor refreshes so quickly that the viewer sees these images concurrently, and everything blends together to make one cohesive 3D image. Now there's other methods for viewing in 3D. It's possible to use head-mounted displays. It's also possible to use anaglyph recording, which is kind of what the red-blue 3D glasses technique is. Currently, my project that involves smartphones has evolved into a technique paper. I've submitted it to the Journal of Cataract and Refractive Surgery, and that's still being reviewed right now. It's also being reviewed as an abstract, either for a spot to give a presentation or just to present a poster at the 2015 American Academy of Ophthalmology annual meeting. So I'm seeking publication, but I don't have anything official yet. It's another reason I was a little bit hesitant to tell you all about it. I just felt like I didn't quite have a leg to stand on since it hasn't been picked up for publication yet. So if you are curious, keep watching. I will explain how we went about doing this. Now, there's already quite a few devices out there that will help you sync or record footage from smartphones and maybe even do it and there are other devices out there that will help you record in 3D from slit lamps. Now, unfortunately, these were all just a little bit too expensive for my fourth-year medical student budget, so I went on the lookout for something a little bit cheaper, and I found an $80 device called the Magnify, made by Arcturus Labs, and it's kind of an all-purpose microscope or telescope adapter created for the iPhone 5 or 5S. That was perfect for me because I had a 5S, so I bought a couple of these, found somebody else with an iPhone 5S, and got to work recording. Now, to record in 3D properly, the videos need to be oriented, and fortunately, the iPhone has a native compass app where you can just rotate it, get it level, and once you have two phones that are perfectly level, you've got good orientation for both your recordings, and you can get going. So there are two ways to record. You can go horizontal or vertical orientation, and we preferred horizontal orientation. It just ended up being much easier for me to edit videos that were in this kind of standard format instead of vertical. So after recording videos, it became necessary to edit them. This usually involved a little bit of vertical alignment. Sometimes one video is a little bit too far down, one video is a little bit too far up, and I could bring those back together because it seems like when watching these 3D recordings, the mind does a pretty good job of fixing a left-right disparity, but an up-down disparity just creates a lot of extra ghosting. Now there's another problem with syncing up these videos, and that's that they're not going to be exactly the same length, and it's almost impossible to start them at exactly the same time. So if you just mash the two of them together, you'll actually see clear ghosting because something's going to happen for the left eye before it happens for the right eye, or vice versa. So what I had to do was go into a video editing program that allowed me to edit frame by frame, figure out exactly what the disparity was in frames between these two videos, and delete excess frames such that they had exactly the same runtime and began and ended at exactly the same moment, or at least within about 3/100ths of a second of each other, which got to be close enough to have a pretty smooth recording once I was done. Now, I was able to convert these into an anaglyph video, which is the picture. This picture that you see here is of anaglyph, and to view this in 3D, you need those kind of red-blue tinted glasses. Now, the problem with this is it washes out the color, and second, it kind of gives you a little bit of a headache to watch. Fortunately, we found a pretty good solution to that, and that was to try to use a head-mounted display adapter for a smartphone. And you can see here something like Google Cardboard works great. Now this functions by using a couple high-powered lenses that allow your eye to focus on the screen at a very close distance. Using a device like Google Cardboard is very practical because this whole thing costs, you can get it for less than 10 bucks. If you want a nice one that's already kind of put together for you, it maybe cost 20, but something that's very affordable even for residents or somebody just without access to very much in terms of funds, maybe even for people in the third world trying to look for educational material. Now, a video that's properly mixed and mashed together like this one can just be uploaded to YouTube, and in fact this phone is streaming a surgical video from YouTube that I privately uploaded to my own account for testing purposes. Once this screen is kind of closed up, it's very easy to watch the whole procedure in 3D. Now there's still an issue with watching these videos in 3D, and that is that the screen resolution is just not good enough to give the best possible viewing experience right now. Each of these videos, the left and right here, was shot at 1080p. So if you combine two 1080p videos together and upload the resulting video to YouTube, what YouTube is going to create is this large 3840 by 2160 video. That's actually that's the 4K resolution that you see being marketed with TVs right now. And of course, half of that resolution is just going to go to waste in this letterbox area with these kind of black lines, and then the actual side-by-side video will be here. I know that's not exactly how it is in this picture where the videos are stretched out vertically, but in my experience it was best to mix the videos in this way, even if some of the resolution was wasted on this letterbox effect. Now, going back to what we talked about, it's possible to record these videos and get them at 4K resolution, but if the smartphone screen is only 720 pixels tall, you can imagine how good the video looks when half of that resolution is lost and you're left with each eye viewing a video that's only 360 pixels tall. That's a very low resolution, especially compared to 1080. And while the 3D effect is great, you just can't see what's going on too well. Now, fortunately, smartphones are getting better. The most recent Samsung Galaxy, the S6, has a 1440 pixel screen. If you cut that resolution in half, you're still left with 720, which means theoretically if I watched one of these videos on a Galaxy S6, instead of getting this kind of cruddy YouTube quality video, I should be watching something that would be the equivalent of an HD DVD. That's pretty spectacular. There's still the issue that smartphone cameras recording at 1080p, well, at least on my iPhone 5, could only record at about 30 frames per second. Now, cameras are getting better all the time. The iPhone 6 and 6 Plus already have better cameras than that, and I think the newest Samsung Galaxies have better cameras as well. They can also do slow motion video, which means I could record in ultra high FPS, and if I could edit the video later, maybe in Adobe Premiere or something like that, a program that I do have access to, it might be possible to play that video back at a normal speed with an ultra high frame rate, and syncing videos like that, it would be possible to get a much better coherence between the left and right video. Syncing between left and right video at 30 frames per second, I can only guarantee that I get within 3/100ths of a second, but it would be possible to get much better precision with higher frame per second video. Alright, so why didn't I create this video to tell you about this project? Well, first of all, just Ben said that you would be interested in any project that involves smartphones and ophthalmology, and I hope that's true. And I guess I really think there's room for growth with this technique. I think it has a lot of potential for education of residents. I would like to see it be used to create some high quality 3D videos explaining cataract techniques and teaching other surgical techniques. Of course, it needs to be streamlined and improved. I've already kind of explained that right now this was cobbled together using free software and inexpensive hardware, and that we still really need to see smartphones improve a little bit before this will be good enough for mainstream. And of course, I'm trying to talk to people about this technique because there just need to be some motivated people to kind of put this thing into action, and for it to gain traction, there have to be ophthalmologists who are interested in it, who are willing to give it a shot. And I just thought I'd tell you about it for that reason. I don't really expect anything from you other than maybe we can chat about it sometime. If you have any ideas, I'd love to hear what you think. I know you're an incredibly intelligent businessman, and I've seen the hangers today. They're pretty impressive. I don't know if you see any potential for business, for making good videos and marketing them as an educational tool, and I'm not sure how much of that I'd even be able to participate in. I'd probably have to talk to one of the JAGs at my base before I'd be sure about whether I was allowed to make any money off any kind of research I had done with other DoD physicians. But it would definitely be interesting to talk about. So hey, maybe one day watching surgical recordings in 3D will kind of be the standard. It's an exciting thought. I'd love to get your thoughts, hear what you think about this. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope to hear from you sometime soon. Take care. Good night.